Things go from bad to worse for the Green Bay Packers. It's only day one of training camp. What is it? I'm going to break that down for you guys in this video. There's a ton to cover, so let's jump into it. The bad portion of the bad to worse news is that the Packers start out training camp a little bit banged up. As you've probably heard, they were without Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed suffered a toe injury at a kids camp of all things. The good news to that is that he is not going to be sidelined long. I expect him, and the Packers expect him. He expects to be back out on the football field before we all know it. Running back Marshawn Lloyd also missing with a hip injury. I cannot wait to see what that dude can do. I'm excited to see him in green and gold and out there on the football field. Tight end Tucker Kraft out with that pectoral injury still. Cornerback Corey Ballantyne out with a hamstring injury. Offensive guard Donovan Jennings out with a knee injury. Katan Oladapo out with a toe injury. That's another dude that I cannot wait to see out on the football field in Jeff Hafley's defense. Depending on how Hafley uses that guy, I think he could have an impact on this Packer team. Offensive tackle Caleb Jones also missing with a hamstring injury. Kraft, Jennings, and Jones all on the PUP list. So the worst news of the bad to worse is that the Packers were, of course, without their leader, Jordan Love. Really, that comes as not a surprise to me. As you remember, there were the rumblings and the rumors of when OTA started that he could potentially be holding out come training camp if he did not get a deal done. And of course, he did show up for minicamp, but he had that $500,000 incentive to show up for minicamp. So that was to be expected that he was going to be there. However, now we are left here sitting, and I'm of the old school mentality of like, man, if you've signed a contract, you sign that 5th-year option, you should be out there. But I do understand this is a business decision. Advisors in his corner. He's got his agent in his corner saying and advising him to hold out, to stay there until he can get a deal done. And that's exactly what he's doing. And from what I've read about it, he would love to be out on the football field. However, he, of course, has to listen to his agents and advisors. That's what he pays them for. Gutekunst, probably not surprised by this. Of course, he understands that this is a business deal, and he has to do also what's best for him and the Packer organization. So what did Brian Gutekunst have to say about the holdout of Jordan Love? He said, we completely understand where he is coming from. And when asked about whether an extension would get done within a few days or not, Gutekunst said, yeah, I think so. But again, you never know. We're working really hard at getting it done. At the same time, the thing I have confidence in is that we both want the same thing. That's encouraging news for us because at the end of the day, the Packers understand that they've got one of the best, potentially one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay, so also what I read about this article based on Bleacher Report came across, and it said this. He said, "Keep refreshing your phones, Packer fans. Jordan Love's contract reportedly could break at any moment." Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported on Tuesday during a conversation with Chase Daniel. She expects it to get done and wrapped up this week. Also suggested that he will become the highest paid signal caller in the league. That, of course, doesn't surprise me either to hear that. It says, I believe Jordan Love is going to be the highest paid quarterback in football when this is all wrapped up. I do believe he's going to beat out Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. So you figure they're the highest paid quarterbacks at $55 million a year. It's all about guaranteed money, right? That is going to be the top conversation when these deals are getting finalized. And that's exactly what I'm sure Gutekunst is working out. From what I've heard, they probably already come to an agreement of that annual salary of what that number is going to look like. However, what is that guaranteed money and other fine print details of that contract? That is what they are working through. So we know the inevitable is happening. So when we talk about him becoming one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid quarterback in the league, let's take a look at the quarterbacks on that list and what they're getting paid. You got Joe Burrow coming in at $55 million. Trevor Lawrence tied with him at $55 million of an annual salary there. Of course, you had Jared Goff kind of, triggering this whole conversation at the $53 million deal. tied for I'm not tied for he's third highest paid quarterback in the league. Justin Herbert 52 and a half, Lamar Jackson at 52, Jalen Hurts at 51, Kyler Murray 46.1, Deshaun Watson at $46 million. And then you start asking yourself, okay, where's Patrick Mahomes on this list? Because this dude, I cannot stand this quarterback. He's my least favorite quarterback in the league. However, you do have to respect, one, his talent, and then two, the fact that he is tied for the highest paid quarterback in the league. Yes, of course, that came back in 2020 when things were a little bit different as far as just salary cap and all of that stuff. So Patrick Mahomes, of course, is going to get paid. He signed a 10-year deal in 2020, and it goes through 2030. So I do expect maybe a restructure at some point in time with that contract. Speaking of which, let's take a look at where the NFL has evolved, right? 2011, 120 million, and then you fast forward just even 5 years to 2016, it went up to 155, so it went up $30 million. And then you fast forward to 2020, $198.2 million, and then you go to last year's $30 million increase. Okay, so business is booming in the NFL, but it leaves the question of, man, here's the question I have is, why are these quarterbacks getting paid so much money, right? Because I do understand the quarterback is the most important position out there, but it seems like, okay, with this $30 million salary cap increase from last year to this year, it seems like it's all going to be going into the quarterback's basket, which I don't think is fair, because at the end of the day, a quarterback is only going to be so good. He has to be able to throw to somebody, right? He's got to be able to have the protection and also have the help from the backfield and running backs back there. So at the end of the day, I get super frustrated that all of this money is going right to the quarterback's lap. But unfortunately, that is the case. And so when we take a look at that number of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, where is Jordan Love going to fall on that list? Of course, it's going to be, more than, from what we're hearing, more than 55 million. I think it's going to be probably within that 55.5 or $56 million. But then, of course, the guaranteed money, what is that going to look like? All of the fine print details. I do expect Jordan Love to be out on the football field probably tomorrow. From what I've heard, if this thing is rolling along really fast, if not at the latest Thursday for the Packers. So leave your comments. Let me know about what you guys think about this whole holding out thing, and then him becoming the highest paid quarterback in the league. Has he earned it? I don't think he's earned it quite yet. He's only played a year. I think that's what Gutekunst is probably trying to protect in the fine print of this contract, in this deal extension. So leave your comments. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, go Pack Go.